Today we are making a variation of the well-loved Míša Pops.
Yes, so Míša, we have 2 episodes on Míša. We have one where we made the Míša Pops.
And one where we tried Míša in the Czech Republic with our friend Míša.
Absolutely. And today we are making a sheet cake that is kind of inspired by the Míša Pop. It's called Míša Řezy or something, Řezy, something like that. And it's 3 layers. It's chocolate on top. It's the tvaroh in the middle, and then a sponge cake underneath. It looks delicious, and we should get cooking.
Let's get cooking.
Woohoo!
So we've got our ingredients for the first layer, ingredients for the second layer, and for the chocolate topping.
Yes, and the layers are a sponge cake and the Míša cheese layer in the middle. And for the sponge cake, we separate the eggs and we make really fluffy egg whites. And then with the yolks, we're going to make a batter out of that. So that's sugar and egg yolks. And then we're going to add this. Look at this. This is all the flour that we're going to add. It's about 6 tablespoons of flour.
It's not a lot. And then we add the chocolate powder for flavoring. And we're going to make it all into a batter.
Yep, and then we're going to fold those egg whites in, and we want to be careful when we fold it in. Those egg whites are what makes it fluffy. That's what makes it a sponge cake. So we're just going to incorporate that carefully, but leave a lot of those air bubbles. And you can see it's nice and bubbly. And
yep.
That goes in the oven for 10 minutes. That's all it takes.
This is the butter for the tvaroh layer.
Yep.
And we're just mixing it together.
Butter and sugar, and there's the cheese went in there, the tvaroh, and we spread it thin over the cake. So there it goes. And then after that gets spread, we're going to freeze it so that this chocolate layer doesn't melt it when we pour the chocolate on. So, and we're just making that in a double boiler, and we're pouring it on the frozen cake and spreading it around.
We're making sure that it doesn't melt the tvaroh underneath.
Yep, and then we freeze that, and then we're doing a second layer, and we're getting it nice and smooth on that second layer.
It's so pretty.
It is, and tasty too. I can tell you, I love this.
So our taste testers have both had Míša in the Czech Republic.
And they look pretty excited about trying their first bite. I can't really tell with Noah. He's being a little vague. There we have it. The taste testers loved it. Of course, it's frozen. Well, it wasn't frozen. It was sweet.
Sweet.
And if you had to give a thumbs up or thumbs down, what would you give? Yeah, did you like Míša though? Full disclosure. Yep. So I'm a Míša lover, and I gave it a thumbs up. So I thought it was good. Now, we have some tips and tricks if you want to make this at home. So the first tip.
Make sure you thoroughly cool or even freeze your tvaroh.
Yeah, so when you smooth it out over the cake, freeze it.
Yeah.
Okay, the second thing is use a double boiler for doing the chocolate. The double boiler, if you have one around, it will keep the chocolate from getting too hot and burning. It just makes it easier. You don't have to use one, but it just makes it easier. And what's the last one?
I don't recall.
Oh, well, it is just like when you're frosting a cake, you might do what we call a crumb coat, where you put a thin layer of frosting on top of the cake, but all the crumbs come through and it doesn't look very nice. But you can do the same thing with your chocolate topping. Just put a thin layer on, and it's going to start to melt that tvaroh layer. So what you do is you put the chocolate on, and then you freeze that again. It gets hard, and then you can do your final coat of the chocolate. It will be nice and smooth as glass, and everyone will say, how did you do that? That's just amazing. So those are our tips and tricks. Go ahead and try making this. Let us know what you think. If you liked what you saw here,
please consider subscribing.
Yes, and until next time, dobru chuť. Bye-bye.